no, that's me. Don't ask me, I lost count. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, apparently I can't. Can you hear me? Am I good? Am I great? I can make out with my microphone more.
Whenever we swap out the mic, whenever we swap out the microphones from one to the other, it does this. The system goes, I don't know what you're doing. And so we just have to tell OBS. And since we run so many shows, I keep forgetting to swap them. And here we are.
I was gonna say, apparently you were heard now.
Yes. I said stuff and Paige said stuff, and now we're going to do a quick catch up. I apologize.
You didn't miss much.
No, not really. It's just my wonderful voice. Blech. So, Agent Jones has gone into the foothills and has been trying to solve a murder mystery.
Yes.
It has been the murders have been happening on a lunar cycle, and so there's a very strong belief that this is a psychopathic individual who is going to strike again at the same time, motivated by something that they don't know. The FBI...
It's our only lead.
Exactly. The FBI have been following as much information as they can, getting ready for the next event. We're starting game. It's Tuesday morning. The next full moon is Thursday night. Agent Jones and the rest of the FBI have hours to go before the next possible murder victim happens, and someone in this creaky, sleepy little town will be dead. So far, their clues have been erratic and sent them on goose chases, finding strange tire marks, seeking out strange people, little girls in the middle of the night, snatching elderly men. So many variety of things have led them in different directions that, to Agent Jones' luck, he was able to, by chance, catch eyes on the mysterious vehicle and chased it into the woods by himself. His partner in crime...
Call it dumb luck.
His partner in crime was not able to assist him, for he was already asleep and did not answer his phone.
Or maybe this was like 3 in the morning or something.
3 in the morning. And he rushed into the woods to where he encountered a hunter. Words were exchanged, aggressive but yet peaceful to some degree. And then tragedy struck, as whatever oddity it was snatched the hunter up and took off with him. Jones ran for the safety of his vehicle after getting what he believes to be good evidence, and made it to his vehicle, but not before the thing caught back up with him. There was a tussle, and Agent Jones fought for his life to keep the doors of his car locked as the creature tried to find a way to open it. The creature or the thing or whatever it was spooked by the oncoming semi-truck, left Agent Jones, broke down on the side of the road. Luckily, he was able to get his car started and make it back into town. We catch up with him as his car is finished in the parking lot of a small diner. He walks in out of the early morning, the early morning to
it's like 4 now.
Staff that is wearily waiting for any truck drivers to swing by and stop for coffee, or the first shifters coming through. Jones is one of the first customers but he's a little disheveled, and he doesn't know if they can tell, but by looking out the window, they can definitely see the vehicle that he's stepping out of.
Yeah, if
made
I
it here
could
with
smoke
grace of-
inside, I would, but you know.
So he orders a cup of coffee, sits down, and begins playing with his phone in the attempts to arouse his partner. The phone rings several times before Garrett finally answers. Jones, what's going on?
So, breakfast, coffee. Just go to the diner. I can't talk to you over phone. I have it's gonna sound fucking crazy, but I have evidence of something.
Okay. Garrett, all right. I'm just now getting up. Can't you just come back to the hotel?
No,
Okay, I'm on my way.
thank you. Drive safe, please. It's
Okay.
out fast.
And so the woman comes over, slides you a piece of pie. Looks like rhubarb.
I ordered just coffee, but
She points out the window. Looks like you had a rough night.
indeed I did. Thank you.
She gives a nod. Was anybody else hurt?
I'm fine. And no.
She gives a nod. Did you roll it?
No. Or leg dropped.
Pie's on the house. She sets a fork down and walks off, feeling that the information gained was worthwhile to know what's going on. Making sure that you're maybe not a drunk or something along those lines. Maybe you're making sure you're not driving away from a terrible accident.
Murder. Alright. Well, I'll thank her. Basically nods and he goes, well, thank you. And he'll down his coffee and then munch on his pie.
Garrett arrives about 45 minutes later, give or take. But he doesn't immediately walk in. He stops, get out of the car, looks at your car, walks halfway around the rental before coming in. And he stands in the door, sunglasses in one hand, gives like an open palms to you and a shrug and a look of like confusion and seeking answers at this point in time. It's early in the morning. He probably hasn't even had coffee yet himself. And then he makes, with the sunglasses, he kind of half points to the car outside.
Yeah, it just gives him like a half smile. He looks like shit. I know he actually got banged up a bit. Did take stun.
Yes.
I don't know how much though. I think that's on my character sheet. I wrote that somewhere, that's a thing I don't have open. But yeah, he doesn't look that great as he normally does. He's a little banged up. He probably has like a scar near his eyebrow or something. He also looks tired. He didn't get a lot of sleep last night. He got like, I don't know, 2-3 hours. I remember him going to bed early and then he woke up at like 3 or 2.
Yeah. So I would count that as no sleep, personally.
Yeah, he's not.
Call that a
I don't
nap.
know. I've lived on 2 hours of sleep, so.
He makes another gesture to your car. And then like steps out of the doorway.
Yeah.
Leading that if you want to continue this conversation, you should probably step outside or learn telepathy.
Yeah, learn telepathy. I mean, I would if I could.
If you could.
No, I'll put down how much I'll slap my money on the table.
Okay.
Make sure I give her a tip. and I'll head outside. And once I'm immediately outside, uh, Elliot. I was thinking of Thomas for a moment. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, chat. If I'm a little, it's clear. I'm in character right now. I'm tired. uh, Once he's outside, he flips open his lighter, and his hands shaking as he's lighting up a cigarette, and he's acting all cool, but method acting by getting zero sleep. I did get sleep. It's a different story. But yeah, Elliot, his hands shaking as he's lighting up a cigarette, but his face is stone.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll just kind of give Garrett a nod and like look at his vehicle and then look at him and make sure he's okay.
Yeah, he seems fine. His vehicle's fine. He's looking at the car and the series of like a dozen plus dent / scratch marks going down the back end. Just staring at them. Will it drive?
Of course it did when I came here, but yeah. I mean,
what got you? Was it did you go off the road?
Elliot pulls out his phone and brings up the file and hands it to him.
Okay. He begins thumbing through the phone. Their pictures, some of them are decent, none of them are great.
I took a video. I remember taking a video, and it looks decent.
Yes, decent. I'm never going to say they're great. This is a horror game. No video footage of anything is ever going to be great.
Well, it's also that there were gunshots fired, and he ended up booking it back to his car. Like, it's not going to be clean.
It's decent. So he's staring at it. He hears the screams, the gunshots, and he stops it, and he plays with it for a minute. And he just shakes his head, and he looks to the car, and he's like, I'd like it to be something I can explain. I don't even know what I'm looking at here.
Neither did I.
He hands you back the phone. I'll call a tow truck.
Yeah, let me, I need to take photos for insurance anyway, but, let me take photos of it.
So you guys begin handling the important parts of business. He reaches out to a tow truck company, stays on the phone for a little bit as he wanders off. He's like trying to find somebody. You take a few pictures, rewatch the videos yourself just to kind of refresh your memory. Your phone goes off probably through the second video that you've got of when you were in the car trying to get pictures. It was pictures in the car, video in the woods, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
You're looking at some of the pictures that you got, and your reminder goes off that says in 2 hours, the meeting of all the hunters is going to take place.
Yeah. Shit. Well, first things first. There is that meeting I would like to look at, but I think the more important thing is the hunter that was actually taken in the woods. Because I wasn't alone out there, and he'll come up missing sooner or later, and I might as well get it into a report.
Okay. Reports require computers and sitting down at a desk and typing away. The lodge that this meeting is taking place is an hour's drive away. So it gives you an hour to write a report, or at least sketch something out on a desk. It's going to take you a few minutes to get back to the hotel room.
I'll do it later then. I'll get like a
time crunch at this point in time.
Yeah, I'll open up like a notebook and start doing like, I don't know, a rough draft of what I need to copy down, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Elliot kind of seems distant, a little focused, more like in disbelief himself.
There's some
But
really good images, and they're in your mind. When you look at the pictures, you can see what you know what you're looking at. Like
yeah,
the little girl at the window, you know what that is. The hand, it's in your head. The picture does support a lot of the things you can say, and you know the picture will sell. Um, Watanabe
it's
on a lot of stuff.
what it. I don't know. Even if Garrett brings this up physically, Elliot's just gonna basically shrug and go, "Yeah, okay. Would you believe the person that has a hobby of looking at supernatural things?"
He's on your team. He's in your court. It's Watanabe that's not.
The thing is, if I showed this to Guantanamo, I would be fired immediately. Shorty thinks that
Doctored
video,
videos.
yeah, the videos that are already doctored, she believes that those are doctored
The woman when
100%.
Yep, when she's in the office, she talks about deep fakes all the time. Everything's possibly a deep fake these days in her book.
The only thing that I could do is show her my vehicle, but the thing is that even that could be, I don't know.
He gets off the phone and says, "Tow truck's on its way. Should be here in
Great.
half an hour."
Perfect. And we could just chill here then.
He walks up and gets a cigarette from you, lights
Yeah.
one, starts walking around the car and looking. What do you do? The sun's up, barely. Enough light out. Yeah. It's like 6:30ish, 6:45 or so in the morning. Enough light to walk around and see. He's checking out the car. There's food and coffee inside.
I got pie and coffee in my stomach. That's a good breakfast in my book. Um, I feel like I've had that breakfast before. I feel like anybody who has ever lived had that breakfast. Uh, I don't know. Elliot's gonna watch Garrett for a long moment, and after a while, he just kind of like gives him a blank look and just softly says, "It lifted me." The entire car. I was held. Doesn't seem to like bullets though.
So was it like a bear?
Oh, it kind of looked like well, it looked like a tree at first, and then it looked like a snake.
He kind of
Like,
winces at the thought of that.
it had like multiple different eyes, but instead of eyeballs, they were all like barbed hooks, and they would shoot out and latch onto its prey and drag it inside, and then just crunch and curl up and crunch down on whatever it had.
He's looking at it. You think the barbs would have done this? And he's pointing at the series of long scratches down the side of the car where the thing dug in. Is this what it did?
Possibly. I don't know. I didn't get to look at wounds on anything, or
But you're fine, right?
my head hurts, but I'm fine.
I got some. I got some ibuprofen in my car.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work.
We should probably get a team out here to look at your vehicle before it gets towed.
I mean, I'm all for that, but I mean, fuck it. I mean, if you're in it, I'm in it. We can tell Guantanamo, but she's not gonna believe this shit.
She doesn't have to. Didn't you talk to the team yesterday? Haven't they been listening to you and kind of hanging out with you? Don't you have that? What's his name? Don't you have their number? Can't you call him? Brown. What's his name's Brown, right?
It's not the point. Even when we went in there, they were talking about were trucks and shit. Like, out of the entire precinct that we work at, there's only like 2 that fantasize about the possibility of supernatural beings and creatures and whatnot as a jokingly hobby and somewhat serious hobby.
He just
Guantanamo
kinda,
already thinks the video is faked.
I
You
know.
come into the office with fucking photos and anything like that, she'll think I'm off my rocker.
I got your back on that one. I'm not gonna. We're gonna make sure that we have a pretty solid stand-in. But something attacked your car. There's no way that she can deny this.
I mean, I do have photos of that girl, the pink hands. And...
Just give me Brown's number. I'll call him.
yeah.
I'll
And
deal with Guantanamo.
He'll open up his phone and show him the number.
All right, he punches it into his real quick, steps away, throws the cigarette down. Morning, Brown. Hey, I need to talk to you for a minute. I need you to wake up and so I got to get moving. Yeah, I need you up. We got stuff to take a look at. We're at Shelly's Diner on and he starts talking and walking away. Make an awareness roll. This is your investigation.
My investigation is shit. It's like a 7, right? Didn't I like boost it? I thought I boosted it. I thought I changed
I thought you moved it to
awareness.
Awareness. It is awareness.
You said investigation and
I
it
did.
threw me off.
It's awareness, and you have your investigation. You have I did a bonus that adds to it for investigation purposes.
Yeah, I've got a +1. 6 out of 11.
As he's walking away, you hear a sound that, for where you're standing outside of a diner, it sounds very, like, fluid-like or meaty-like. Like, if you've ever dropped a piece of meat onto a countertop, and the sound that the meat makes, not the countertop, but the meat, that flump sound.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I know that sound only because when I'm in the grocery store and I find raw meat, I slap it because I like the sound.
Yeah.
It's fun to squish. I'm sorry. Yes, bloot. Do I know where it came from?
Under the car.
And if I like kneel where I am, can I see it?
You just heard a strange splooty sound.
I'm not going near it, but like I imagine I'm up against the diner and there's a sidewalk and
yeah, okay, so you're a distance away
and
you're keeping a distance away from it while you go to check out what this sploot sound was.
Yes.
Okay. You move over to the car, keeping low, but a distance, maybe like a meter. There's a pile of pinkish colored fleshy material near the back of your car on the roadway, in the parking lot.
Gross.
It's probably about 4 inches long, maybe about 2 ounces worth of something. It glistens in the early morning sun. It might be fat, might be muscle, it might be skin.
I'm gonna stare at it. And I'm gonna look over to Garrett to see if he's still on his phone, and then I'm gonna look back.
It's gone.
Oh god! And that's what he's gonna fucking just wave at Garrett and go, Garrett! Like
all right. The spot where it's at is definitely moistened more than the ground around it, like, so you got dew, and so you can see that there's a glossy place where this thing landed and now is
Flopped.
gone. And by the way it looks, this is not like a snail trail, like it went off somewhere. It's the plot mark is just there. So the only rational explanation is it went back up
Yeah.
under your car.
Yeah. I just don't want it to face hug me and impregnate me. But yeah, I think Elliot will like get on his stomach and like do that basically thing, like a push-up thing, except you're looking underneath your car. And yeah, he'll look underneath it if he can.
So
Even
you're
use
gonna
his
crawl into
phone
your car?
flashlight. Well, yes and no. Again, I want to do it from a distance. At least on the sidewalk if I can. And if I can't see anything, then I'll go closer.
I cannot understand how you can see anything under your car without getting closer.
Well, because I'd have to be in the road.
It's a parking lot.
Oh, then I should be fine.
Yeah.
Unless it's a really low to the ground car.
No, well, yeah, kind of.
Have you never?
It's like,
have you?
Yeah, I can crawl under a car. I'm not saying you can't crawl under a car. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying like laying down from a distance and looking under. You would see like the muffler at least.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I mean, I've done it to look at my cats when they're under the car. So like,
I understand, and I do not disagree with you. You can definitely do that, but you do not see any more information by getting a distance away from the car, crouching and laying as low as you possibly can and trying to look up. You can see parts of the undercarriage which are messed up and look like they have been ripped because that's plastic, not metal, and the plastic's been shredded underneath there.
Yeah.
And you can still see that the underside in this early morning, there's wetness.
Like dew from the morning?
No.
Oh, okay.
Their dew is on the ground. The underside of the car is kind of dry because it's where it's sitting. But there's a bit of wetness that surrounds the opening that goes into the trunk.
Okay.
Ace had said it'd be hidden by body panels and stuff, but so to look up under those sections, you would have to get under the car. But from where you're at, you're looking at the section that it's kind of like the plastic outer covering of the trunk area.
Okay. I mean, fuck it. Garrett's here. If anything happens, he'll help me. Or I'll be ending up saving his ass. I'll kind of move over and open up the trunk.
Okay. I'm assuming that it's like an electric pop kind of thing where you push the button and it pops open, or is it the kind that you have to put the key into?
Probably the electric one.
Okay.
It's 2019.
Yeah, it's in every car.
No. Yeah, I mean it's a both option.
Yeah, I'm sure most cars have that option, but this is a rental and the government's paying for it, so I'm pretty sure you have to stick the key in.
Well, then I'll stick the key in.
All right. Click, turn, pop, pull. It doesn't open. The trunk looks a little damaged. It's a good possibility. It's just not going to open that easily. Yeah, it's jammed.
If I bang on the back of it with my fist, like on the like the this is a good image for me. The backsides, like the edges where you can see the cracks. And if I bang on those areas. Am I making sense?
Yes, you are. Yeah, you are. Like opening a jar, you're going to tap on the edges and hope that it pops it free. Yeah, I totally get that. All right. Do you have any technical skills?
No.
Yeah, just roll. If you don't, just roll 3d6 and start banging away on the car.
I have hand to hand.
Yeah, I'll give you a bonus for that.
All right. I have
Hello,
subterfuge is
Soy
like
Mage. Welcome to
holding.
the show.
Yeah, subterfuge won't work with this.
No.
All right. Well, then that's all I have. And I have psychology.
Gonna psych out the trunk.
Can I psychoanalysis in my car? Oh, no way. 6.
All right. You begin banging on the trunk, and it pops as you're pop, bang, bang, bang. It pops open, and then you hear Garrett behind you. What are you doing? Don't hit your car. The insurance. And as you turn to look to him, say something. You hear the trunk close behind you.
The thing is, I wouldn't turn.
Roll composure, because the trunk just pulled, because you're holding on to it. It pulls itself shut.
I got. Hold on. What is my composure? I think I literally got 9 out of 9. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I did.
It's about making under in this game, so tying does not help you. You are scared because there's something right now in your trunk, and it just closed your trunk on you.
Yeah.
You've got a crowbar in your hand that you were using to kind of pry and bang on it. You drop that out of your hand.
It's fine.
Garrett's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I think this is the first time out of their whole entire career that, because Elliot's got a pretty good composure and bonuses to his composure.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen some shit.
Yeah.
I think this would be the first time that he's actually genuinely seen real fear, other than going into like a haunted house with him on Halloween. And he kind of backs up and he trips over the sidewalk edge a little bit. And he just kind of shakes his head and he goes, no, there's something in that trunk.
What? He immediately undoes his gun. I mean, he's got to make a composure roll now. You say that, and he immediately undoes his gun and makes a composure roll. Oh, man, 13. He begins moving over toward the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
And he reaches his hand out shakily, and he grabs a hold of it. He tries to open. It's locked. It's locked.
How rational is my brain in this moment? Let me think. I've never been scared. No, I have. As I say, I've never been scared for my life, but I have. You don't really think in that moment until like much later.
Yeah.
Elliot's gonna take a moment, and as Garrett kind of tries it and it's locked, like even before when he's like he's reaching towards to try it, Elliot just kind of grabs his other arm and pulls him back to the sidewalk. He doesn't want him near that thing. And he takes a moment and he kind of closes his eyes tightly and just tries focusing, and just kind of does a hand motion and basically just says, oh, okay, we need to move this vehicle somewhere else and deal with that thing later, but we need to keep an eye on it because it was pink.
Yeah, the slimy thing on the ground was pink.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what Elliot tells Garrett.
All right, so you pulled him back from the trunk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He's just like, you're starting to scare me. What do you mean it's in there? It's in... What did that to the car is in there right now?
And no, I don't know what it was. It was pink. It was squishy and goopy.
Okay.
But it had enough strength to pull down the trunk on me, so... But, I mean, we're right outside a diner. I don't think that this is the best,
You realize you're right outside a diner and he has his sidearm drawn at a busted up car. Because he's already... This is too creepy, weird shit for him. So he puts his sidearm back and he's like, well, I'm just going to go stand on this side of it and watch it from this side. You stay over there, and if you see anything at all. So he moves out into the parking lot away from the building. Mm-hmm. And you are sitting on the sidewalk because I'm imagining you got up. Are you still sitting, or did you stand up yet?
Oh, okay. I'll stand.
Okay. So you're standing on one side of the car facing this section, and he's standing on the other side of the car, watching that section. And you guys, it's pretty tense at this point in time. He's watching it. He's nervously looking around because he wants to believe you. So many things have made him believe up to this moment, and just your sudden reaction, the way everything went, sets him off. That changes when a car pulls into the parking lot rather quickly. As the car does so, he looks over. You are looking as well because you can see the car come in. It's Brown. It hasn't even been 15 minutes.
Jesus.
Brown pulls into the parking lot. He is driving his car, which is an older model Ford LTD, kind of like one of them cars out of the 1980s, and all straight edges. And he comes in. It scrapes against the concrete. He comes to the stop. The man comes out in shoes with no socks. He's wearing a pair of comfy pants and a T-shirt. He ain't dressed at all.
Right, he got up and was like, I'm out. I need
cool
to get
shit's
there.
Going on. He comes flying out. Along with him is one of his technicians, the lady that you talked to help organize stuff. She's coming out too. She's actually dressed. She must have been ready to go by the time this all took place. But she's coming out of the car. He flies out of the car. Wow! It was a were truck, is the first words out of his mouth as he's taking a look at all this stuff. And she's stepping out, and she has a shocked look on her face and whatnot. And from behind you, you hear a woman's voice go, "Is everything okay? I saw that man holding a gun."
"We're fine, thank you. Please go back inside."
"Do you need me to call the police?" Because right now, from inside, it looks like you guys might have been fighting, and he drew a gun.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Elliot just turns around and he goes into his coat pocket and whips out his badge and goes, "We're FBI agents. We deal with this shit all the time." He kind of folds it back down.
Okay, she says twice. "Okay. I'm just going to come inside here. Your coffee's still inside if you want it."
"Thank you." And he just turns back to the group and he takes a deep breath, trying to calm his nerves, and he goes, "All right, move the vehicle. Tow it. We'll drive behind it. We need to move this thing. We're out in the open. It's not
Brown's like,
this isn't right."
"Wow, this is so cool. Some sort of large lacerations," and he starts babbling on stuff. "You can definitely see where it has a definite increased amount of strength, blah, blah." And this guy just is in his zone as he just walks over the car and throws open the back passenger door, begins looking around the inside. And Garrett's like, "Don't can touch it. There's something in the goddamn trunk." And he grabs him, pushes him back, and Brown's like staring at him, trying to figure out what the hell he just said. And he got an 8 out of his 7. So Brown kind of stops. "What?" Like in that shocked moment of, I just walked up into a situation where there's a face-hugging alien that's going to impregnate him. And same with his assistant. She's kind of stopped. She's got a briefcase, and now you all standing around the vehicle. Brown
just staring at it.
Brown goes, "It's contaminated. There's an organism in it. A violent organism." You make their gestures. He turns to Garrett. Garrett's like, "Something closed the trunk while we were trying to open it." "What? It's in the trunk. It's in the trunk."
You were way too excited about this.
Yes.
Look, okay, Elliot just kind of steps a little closer to the vehicle. As I said before, we're in the middle of a goddamn fucking parking lot. We need to move this thing. Obviously, we've already stirred up people in the diner. This isn't professional.
Tow truck's on his way. Garrett jumps in. All we got to do is
Okay,
wait and keep an eye on it. Make sure nothing happens.
then let's do that. Let's watch it.
And you wait. And then the tow truck shows up. And he says, "Oh, not a problem. More than happy to help. You have here a front-wheel drive vehicle. I'll just back up to the front end, latch everything on, and start pulling it along. I just need to put these little things on the trunk. That way you got turn signals, and we'll be ready to go." The entire time, Brown has been walking behind it with his hand in front of his face, staring at it, moving left and right. Did you see anything else? Did anything else happen? Asking you 20 questions. What was last night like? What did it look like? Did part of its body actually go in a circle? Like the wheels do?
Elliot's not answering him at this moment. But as his body language is obviously off the charts, Elliot just kind of pulls him aside and gives him like a really stern look and basically just softly tells him like, "You need to calm the fuck down." And looks back towards the vehicle and watches the guy hook on to the trunk part.
Garrett has not stopped staring at this guy. And as you guys are doing stuff, Garrett has started to quietly mumble, "All it takes is that one time somebody looks away and then it starts killing people or runs off." And Garrett says that openly enough. This is prior to the tow truck guy showing up. So it's not like the tow truck guy's like, "Doopy-doo. All it takes is one time for someone to look away and then it kills somebody." It's just too much right there. Garrett's not going to know. So
yeah,
Garrett's keeping an eye on everything. The vehicle gets hooked up. Brown tells the tow truck driver to follow them. And then you guys are going to follow behind the tow truck.
Yes.
Cool. You guys get into the vehicle and start to drive. Following the tow truck, it takes it back to the police city hall barracks. This is where they've been working out of. The annex, that's what it's called. And so you pull up into the parking lot and unload it. Brown would have told you guys keep sharp eyes out, make sure whatever's in the trunk doesn't jump ship on the way through.
Yeah, I'm looking around the trunk and then below.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for anything moist, glistening in the sunlight.
Yeah,
anything
exactly.
Of that nature. I'll even tell Garrett that like it was wet. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. I'm gonna be glued to that thing.
Okay. And you park it into the parking lot of the City Hall Annex. Brown gets out and he runs into the building.
Oh god. Yeah, no, I would stop him immediately.
He's like, no, I need to get something from his. I'll be right back. And he says it like super fast and runs past you.
Keep it down, all right? Like, I'll just call after him. And
he storms across the wooden porch area and into the building. You can hear his footfall. He is flying as fast as he can. He comes back out with a large white tube of, is that a giant thing of saran wrap? And he comes running back out and he runs over to the female technician. Hold that. And so then he takes and he starts wrapping the car in a giant thing of saran wrap, yelling, "We've got to preserve the evidence as much as possible." And he's going around the car at this point in time.
Yeah.
Car's off the tow truck. This guy's freaking out. He's now preserving the vehicle in a casing of saran wrap. Nothing's going to touch it. He can get evidence out of it. And if there is a thing in there, because his level of fear has gone down to super excitement at this point in time.
Yeah. God damn it, bro.
But it's not like he's not acting like a child with a new toy. He's acting like an adult trying to quickly resolve an issue. When he starts wrapping
it's like passion.
Yes.
Passion for your work.
Yes. As he's wrapping it, and she's helping, she's complaining, and he says, we could be on the possible of a huge, huge breakthrough in so many things. Just, this could solve a lot, and she's just like, it's not a weird truck. By this time, the tow truck driver is gone. It's just you guys in the parking lot in the early part of the morning. Your alarm's going off.
Damn it. Yeah, I'll check my phone and turn it off. And
tells you have an hour before the meeting.
Okay.
It takes you an hour to get out there.
That's fine. You can speed.
Turn the light on.
Pretty much. Elliot just kind of watches this, and at this point, he's just kind of drained, and I mean, he kind of speaks up and he goes, actually, I wanted to open up the trunk again, but
No, we can't. There's a great possibility that the alien is still in the trunk by your description, and if it is there, this can help contain it. I'm going to get some surveillance equipment, set it up so that we can watch the vehicle, so that there's no possibility of escape. This is amazing. If it fits inside of a trunk and is able to do this much damage to the vehicle, this is our first opportunity to meet something from another planet. The technician has gone back to her work. She seems to have separated herself from the moment. Garrett, of course, what?
Yeah.
He's taking a step back.
Even Elliot's pretty much just kind of done with that. But he'll kind of lean on one foot and just kind of you do realize that this is a case about deaths, right? You think that the thing was trying to give me a hug? I don't want to communicate with this thing. Look what it did to my vehicle. I know what it did to things. I don't want it to happen to anybody else. If you can keep it contained, fantastic. We still need to prove that this was actually the thing that we're hunting, that we're actually looking for, that this thing is an actual psychopathic killer that kills every other full moon. Or rather, every full moon of every month.
Right, and I have an idea to build a containment device. If it can fit inside of a trunk, I have devices, boxes that we can trap it in. And if we can get a hold of it out of the trunk, I've got some ideas. We can get it out, we can trap it, we can study it. We can learn about it. This is a great opportunity for all of us as a species. Don't you understand?
Yeah, and it's also dangerous.
And I'm going to keep a mind on that one. And I'm not going to work without at least 2 more people here. So if you can, I got the rest of my team showing up. As soon as they show up, I'm good to go. We can work from there.
Don't do anything stupid. If you've seen the video surveillance of that little girl pulling Thomas down, that thing's strong. Believe me, it's strong. And it's not alone. It's not the only thing. The pink thing is not the only thing.
I just think it's trying to communicate with us.
Tell that to the 3 dead people.
Maybe it doesn't have an idea what's a viable food source for us. So your character's got psychology, right?
Yeah.
All right, so this man's entered a state of obsessiveness over it because now he's what-ifing. Because it's not just one what if, it's multiple what ifs.
Multiple what ifs.
This is not a conversation. This is him describing his religion to you.
Yeah.
And so you realize that either he's going to be professional and do a good job, or victim number 4 is standing right in front of you.
Exactly. Yeah. Elliot's pretty much trying to get to a point where it's like, all right. Yeah, he'll listen to him and he'll wait for like a moment where he's done ranting about whatever.
About talking and communicating with creatures from another world for the first time and bringing us into a light of a new generation. And man, he has got it down.
He was prepared for this.
He is.
Yeah, Elliot kind of folds his arms a bit and leans back, and he just goes, "Okay, do me a favor. Look at my vehicle. Just look at it. Just don't even think that there's anything inside of it. Just look at my vehicle. Now think of all of the victims that had gone missing and have ended up without organs and were passionately murdered. I want you to treat this with professionalism as much as you can. I don't need you nerding out over this because you could be our fourth."
All right,
No.
make a psychology roll to try to bring him back down to the real world.
Sure. Um. Why is my psychology so low?
Because you pretty much just said, hey, I'm going to dump on this.
I pretty much did.
But at least you have
but,
it.
Yeah.
So how bad
2,
is it?
4, 6. Exactly 7. 7 out of 7.
Okay. He gives a nod and says, I will promise. I promise. I'm going to take this with an amount of seriousness, and I'm going to document everything because this is fine. I've got this. I'm lead on this part of the team. Don't worry. His confidence changes, his tone changes, but the words he's saying still worries you. Like he's playing a word game because he's saying, I will document this. I will take care of this from my team's point of view. So you know that it didn't work. He's still gonna he's gonna nerd out. This is his moment, and you can only hope for his skills to save him or at least one of his teammates to make sure he doesn't fuck up too bad.
Yeah. What is the other the technician that's with him?
We're going to say her name is Teresa.
Teresa.
She doesn't get a last name. That means she's going to stay around if she gets a last name.
That's fine. Basically, yeah, as he's listening to him, there's a pause between their sentence. He just kind of goes, Teresa, can you make sure he doesn't do anything stupid?
She'll nod. I'm not going to let him open that thing without any precautions.
Just don't let him open it permanently.
She'll give a nod. And he says, I will definitely construct a way in which we can have it open and be safe.
Your life, not mine. And he turns to Garrett and he goes, come on, we have a meeting. We're already late. And I'm going to sleep. So wake me up when we're there.
You leave Brown and his technician behind, and you hop on the road. Back streets and whatnot, twist and turn, country roads, trees blurring by. It does not take you long before you pass out.
Yeah.
He does drive pretty fast, fast enough to get there. When he wakes you, it's when you're driving onto a dirt road, or you're on a dirt road with a little bit of turns, and he's going kind of slow. As you begin coming to, there's trees all around you. You see a sign, this is Woodridge Hunting Lodge. You see a large, beautiful oak tree cabin building. It's kind of expansive. It's got a porch, just lots of trucks. Like, you're probably going to count at least 12.5 vehicles here. All of them trucks. The area around this cabin doesn't look like it's designed to have these many vehicles in front of it. People are parked on the side of the road and in ditches. There are a lot of people on the porch. As you pull up and he begins looking for a spot, you come to the realization that there's also an area behind the building where people have started parking. There's almost 24 vehicles here at least.
Jesus.
Everybody is carrying a gun. Hunting rifle of some type, shotgun or something, 30-06.
And then here comes the 2 fucking FBI agents who have fucking handguns.
All the vehicles are a variety of, I'm going to use the word redneckish. Some of them are damaged, dirty, and still look viable. Others are giant wheels and giant mag pipes coming off the top of it and whatnot, and all fancy-do with mud flaps. As you enter into the building, or you begin wandering into the group, The door seems to be open. Nobody stops you and asks questions.
Yep.
The range is mostly people in their 30s and on up into their 60s. All of them wearing overalls or coveralls or suspenders or button-up shirts. All of them definitely scream candidate for diabetes, as all of them seem to have let themselves go through life.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple MAGA hats floating around the room as well. An iconic emblem of the 46 up on the wall is, for his own personal praise, the praise of the people here. Maybe the hunter of the lodge likes the guy. Who knows? He is your boss, so you still have to answer to him if he calls. You wander in, and people are gathered about a bunch of metal chairs and whatnot. Guns are being laid up in a beautiful gun rack off onto one side of the countless number of stuffed and petrified animal heads along one wall, all having some sort of graceful appearance on their face. But you know that that's not the face they had when they died. Eagles, birds, variety of animals, rabbits and whatnot, just bears too. When you come walking in, people are talking, and a gentleman has taken a stage as he's like, "Oh, we got a packed crowd today. We're all really excited, and we've all been hearing the rumors. So if everybody can get a moment and get in, we're going to go ahead and have our conversation. There is tea, juice, and coffee in the kitchen, as well as cakes. And if you're diabetic, there are some low sugar and NutraSweet options in there as well. Feel free to have some, and there's also some little sausages too. Almost everybody has a little tray. The sausages are made from deer meat, and he starts going off about the creator of the deer meat and the sausage links and so on and so forth. As they talk, they laugh, they joke. These people are very comfortable with each other. A man's voice nearby picks up, probably in his 50s or so. He says, "You two got any weapons to check in?" "No weapons carried around the hunting lodge." And he gives a nod to the two of you.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, I don't have any problem I don't have any problem checking in. That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
Elliot, basically kind of looks around for the checking. Is that the checking desk?
Yes, it's the guy checking it in. Yeah.
He'll even ask.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yep,
and
that's my job.
He'll skillfully pull out his handgun, twirl it in his hand, and then hand him the butt of his
As you pull out your handgun and go to twirl it, they all move back and they'll take very stansive positions. That they all stare at you like that was like not okay.
Yeah. Elliot's just like, "I'm tired. I've had a long night." He sets down his pistol and goes, "I'm sorry, I'm not used to it. Usually when we're at the range, they kind of trust me there."
Gentleman says, "We tried to take pride in our gun etiquette. Please try to do so yourself. Twirling a loaded firearm is unacceptable."
Oh, there's one bullet in there. And he
one bullet
slides it over.
He takes it. I did not get your name.
Elliot Jones.
Oh, Special Agent Jones.
He's been going around then.
Oh, we knew you guys were in here and out and about. We didn't expect you to be coming to our little meeting. But
we have our reasons.
Garrett's, and you must be Klaus Garrett, Special Agent Klaus Garrett. Nice to meet you two. And he reaches out and shakes Garrett's hand and then shakes your hand. Yeah, we really hope that this is not related to the case at all. And people nearby are like, "Oh, you're the agents." Yeah, they turn, they face, they pay attention. They begin talking. And the guy up on stage has taken a moment. "I'm sorry, did I hear that the two who just walked in is the agents?" And everybody kind of pretty much stopped. Yeah, everybody does, except for some gentleman who's still serving himself an extra round of cakes.
Stuffing his face with cakes. Dude, Danish is.
They give it acknowledgement. Y'all come up here to look for some investigation into what's going on? Think that this might be related?
Could be.
Garrett gives a nod. Yeah, we're just trying to make sure we catch up on all ends. So, you guys wander in. They offer you a seat. They offer you coffee and whatever else. They're very friendly. One gentleman comes by and says, if it's my right to understand, you came into town and my brother towed your car this morning. It looked like it got rolled over. Got all scratched up. Well, yes, it's a small community.
Indeed.
You okay?
A little banged up. Fine.
He said it wasn't bear marks.
One reason why we're here at the lodge.
He gives a nod. Well, let's see how this turns out. So, he walks off. Garrett's like, see how this turns out? You know, that's peculiar. What does that mean? The guy begins talking, and everybody has a chance to get up. And sadly, this is a go around the room and ask anybody, do they know anything?
Yeah.
Everybody keeps saying the same repetitious thing. It's big. It moved through my area. I saw it. It just either destroyed some of my traps or took what was in the traps or destroyed the trap and took what's in the trap, but it's not a bear. The most important one is everybody all agrees it's not a bear. Too big to be a bear. Too many claws to be a bear. Too many feet to be a bear. They don't know what it is, but it's big, and it moves as fast as a car can on the road, several miles an hour. They know that they've seen something. They even say they know it glows. They've seen it, and that's one of the things. One gentleman gets up, yeah, so-and-so told me that it glows. I was out hunting north of here, about 40 miles, and then I saw something glowing. I didn't stick around. I just ran. You know, they talk about a number of hunters who are still out hunting that haven't been accounted for, and people are worried.
Oh, there's like numbers?
4 gentlemen. S? Yes, with an S. 4 gentlemen. Now, it's not uncommon for someone to go out hunting for a day or 2.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Or 3 or 4. And some people make a big deal about it and be gone for 2-3 weeks at a time.
Oh, yeah.
But for some of these individuals, they bring up their names. It's uncommon. Tony left on Monday, and he's usually back. It's been a full week plus. He's definitely would have been home by now. His wife is worried. You know? And so they mention this, and like, we need to look in his areas too. What does so-and-so think? Well, so-and-so said this, and he left a message on my phone, and then he went out hunting, and he's been gone for about 3 weeks. You know, and so this is being shared. And so they're talking about people who are technically still out hunting. No bodies have been found, and they're not about, they have said this person might be missing, but there's no search and rescue effort for an adult who goes out hunting for 2 to 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Until there's evidence that there's been foul play, they're not going to. So as the show continues on and discussing, one gentleman gets up, and his name is Walker, and he's an older guy, probably in his 40s, and he says, well, I know that me and Joe are going to be doing some hunting in the Southlands, up in the Gap, near Stonehide. Joe's going to be doing most of the hunting. I'm going to be sticking back near the truck. My diabetes don't allow me to get out and moving around too much. So I'm hoping that ranger training and what else? He says, I'm hoping my kin who's a Green Beret and has ranger training should be able to find this son's a bitch. Because we all know what we really want. And everybody's like, yeah. Because if Joe bags it, That's on us. And they're like, yeah. Well, if it's over, and so they start talking, and you get a prelude of what they're all kind of hem-hawing around. They all want a shot at this. This is the biggest thing that come through the area. At this point in time, they start talking about how taking it out is the coolest thing possible. It seems like this is what these guys are here for, to share information, to be able to hunt this thing down. Then they get around to asking you.
Oh, God.
They turn to you and Garrett. Klaus.
I just imagine it goes quiet.
Yeah.
And then all turns to Elliot, and he's just in his notebook writing things down, and he looks up and he's like, oh, shit. He leans forward.
I want to start by saying nothing they've said has changed anything you know.
Yeah,
they have seen claw marks, multiple claw marks more than a bear. They know it moves fast. They know it glows. Some have said it looks kind of pink. But they don't believe it can. They've also said that it's other colors. They know it's as big as a truck.
Yeah.
And they know it's fast. And they know it kills. And they believe that the other 4 hunters who haven't come back, they're just like the 3 victims that have been found.
Yeah, Elliot pretty much reiterates all of that. He'll just mention, like, from the tracks that they've seen, it has long strides, it's fast, multiple reports of multicolors, blah, blah, blah. That's pretty much it.
So, as you finish with that point in time, a woman from the back of the room that stands completely out from everyone else here. She's about 5'9", almost 5'10". She looks quite built, and she's wearing fatigue pants. And she says, but do you have anything else other than what we've said here? Because you've been investigating what's been going on in town, but you wouldn't have come out here unless you believe what's happening out in the woods has something to do with what's going on in town.
If I turn to her, does she look familiar? Does she look like a reporter?
Nope. She's wearing camo pants and like a black tank top.
Is she redheaded?
Nope. Black curly hair.
All right. Redheads are Elliot's weakness.
No. Should I change it? I'm not trying to make her your weakness, your kryptonite.
My kryptonite. Elliot just kind of smirks a little bit, and he goes, well, the reports that we've seen, this could be a monster or a creature, bear, thing, animal. What better yet to go to the hunters?
Okay.
We don't know anything about monsters or animals or large creatures.
All right. She gives a nod. She looks you up and down, and everybody else goes about to their discussion. But she doesn't take her eyes off of you, and you can tell she's reading you from this distance. What you said, your mannerisms, your words.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give it to you. He's not telling her everything. It's
exactly.
obvious.
It's very obvious. And you think she knows that you're holding back.
Yeah.
They begin to mingle and talk. And as they do so, and everybody starts breaking up, all right, we've got some information. If anybody else figures out anything, these are the contact numbers and stuff like that. She cuts through the crowd as you guys are starting to stand up. She walks up and she goes, my name is Joe Walker, and I want you to help me find this thing. Klaus is like, Garrett goes, wait, you're the Green Beret?
Yeah, I was about to say, you're that guy's kid?
And she goes, what, a woman can't be a Green Beret? They changed the rules on that.
Elliot just looks at Garrett and gives him a look like, it's one of these ladies, type of thing. And looks at her and goes, that's not what we're assuming.
Yes, I'm Mr. Walker's daughter. Can we talk outside?
Of course.
All right. She walks you at the back, and When you guys get out there, she kind of talks. She says, so where you from? And she begins doing some small talk. But she's like, let's go stand over here and talk. People kind of mill around. She's like, let's go stand over next to my truck and talk. She said, a Jeep. I'm sorry, she doesn't have a truck. Let's go stand next to my Jeep and talk.
She's got a Jeep. That's such a female thing.
You get over the Jeep. It's a nice looking Jeep. It's got stuff on it. Does Elliot know anything about cars?
No.
Okay, so there's stuff on this thing. Is like, oh, it's got camouflage and whatnot. And she goes,
It's a car.
It's a Jeep. What's that plastic thing coming out of the hood? Don't worry about it, right? When you get over to her Jeep, she turns, she says, I've seen the markings this thing leaves, and I think I know where it's at. But I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to kill it, and I'm going to bring it back out. But I believe that it's not something I've ever seen before, or anyone. And we all know that, but I don't think anyone here has an idea what that really means, except you two.
Have you actually seen it?
No.
Can you describe the tracks?
Oh, yes. Large, semi-rounded. They seem to have, I would describe them as mud tires that are very toothless and spaced out in angles. So it cuts from side to side like a snake sliding. And it's large.
Yep. So you've definitely seen it.
I followed it quite a bit. I've been tracking it. I think I know where it's at. But I don't want to go in not without knowing everything that I need to know.
Elliot looks over to Garrett for a little bit of like clarification or gauging what he's thinking.
Garrett pauses as he's thinking. She says, I'm serious. Steps over to the back of her Jeep, grabs the handle, pulls it down, and shows some incredibly heavy firepower in the back of her Jeep. And she says, I'm serious, a second time. From where you're standing... There's a moment
where Elliot's just like, that's illegal.
Yeah, that's the first thing that crosses your mind. That's illegal. Because first of all, it's an automatic rifle. And second of all, is that a grenade launcher on the bottom half?
Yeah. I think Elliot's tired enough where he just goes, well, that's illegal. Like out loud and just chuckles.
She closes her trunk, the back of her Jeep back up.
The boot.
The boot. Well, it's just like a little part that folds, and so
I'm horribly wrong. It's not a boot. It's something else.
It's a bed. That's what they call it. Called a bed.
I own a moped. So my moped's the boot. So, sorry, continue.
So, who made it?
I'm sorry?
I don't think this is natural. I think somebody made this.
I mean, I guess it's possible. I don't know anything about animal breeding or whatnot. That's illegal and anything of that nature. I mean...
She just looks at you.
Look, I'm still debating on whether telling you everything. This stuff's confidential. Even if our superior finds out that we tell you what we know, we could lose our jobs.
She nods. I understand. And what I just showed you could get me in jail.
Definitely. I know the exact years. He'll look at Garrett again. And he'll go, alright. He'll roll his eyes and he'll put his hand in his back pocket, pull out his phone, swipe over to the video and slowly slide it over to her.
Okay.
And he'll just go, yeah, I know it. And he'll just hand it to her. With a very, not like boasting look, just more of like, yeah, it exists. Fucking sucks.
She watches the video. She pauses at the end. She pauses for a minute. You weren't going to tell him in there, were you?
Of course not.
Tony was a good man.
That is one thing that I did want to mention. Not that, but, or rather ask, was the locations. Obviously, if you know where this thing is, these missing men, are they in a part of the woods and or location of the state that would pinpoint it?
The thing's following a pattern. Its movements are in a counterclockwise motion, and it's extending its range, one step at a time. I can show you. I have a map, and I've sketched out some ideas of where it's going to hit next, but I think I know where its center point is.
It's in a counterclockwise motion, you said.
It goes out, it hits a target, comes back, dispenses the target as it needs to, and then continues. I have a hunting stand a couple miles up the road from here. It's got some of my information in it. I don't leave it out for public, and if somebody found my stand, we would all know about it.
Well, I think I'd like to see that.
Okay.
Do you know why it would dispense its prey afterwards?
I haven't figured that part out. But we also haven't found the remains of 4 other hunters.
So you haven't stumbled upon any remains of animals or anything of that nature?
No.
You're not even humanoid?
The 3 victims you're looking for, the 3 victims that your case is about, that's the only evidence that it's left behind of it even being around. I don't know why it would do that. That doesn't make any sense. Everything else all the other animals that have come missing, and there's quite a number of them, they're just gone.
Have you found are there any reports of, I don't know, larger animals missing?
Yes.
Okay. Larger
Dogs,
than humans?
house cats. There is a bears. She talks about the rangers missing a couple of their bears that are local.
Okay,
Like
so it's not the size.
They're like black bears, little black bears, So
okay, yeah, I'm just thinking if it's bigger than a human, if it's hunting something bigger than a human, it wouldn't make sense. They would just drop off the human someplace in certain areas, no less, all face down in water type of thing.
mm-hmm.
All the same details. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, he'll just kind of shrug and he'll go, "You're driving," and he mentions, gestures to Garrett, and just turns to Joe and just says, "We'll follow you then."
She says it's off road. Does your little rinky-tink toy be able to handle off road? Otherwise, get in. Garrett's walking to the passenger side, shotgun. He says,
"I'm comfortable within the back, so I'll get in the back."
Okay, you guys hop into Joe's Jeep and begin driving. You leave your vehicle behind. You go down the road. You travel for probably about 40 minutes across highway and then into back roads, and then at least a good 10 minutes of just driving off-road. You get to a place where the sign says, private property, no trespassing. She undoes the chain, drives past it, puts the chain back up. You drive a little distance, and there's more signs. Warning, private property, monitored, no trespassing. She gets to a point, she stops, opens her dash up, pulls out a little remote, points it into the woods, and you hear boop boop. She puts the remote back and continues driving. You get to a point where the Jeep comes to a stop as a little area. She gets out. This way. She goes to the back. Doesn't pull the trunk down, but she just reaches back there. When you watch her reach back there, you notice that there is all those that the guns that you saw are not there. And she pulls out a rifle from a little hitch. And you realize that the back plastic has slits in it. So when she pulled down the trunk, a part folded out and there's a compartment underneath. And so when she pushed it back, the compartment is sealed. She takes you into the woods.
Just imagine like her reaching past Ellie and just watching her rifle be pulled out and just go, "You are loaded." Watching her hold this rifle. Like
she slings it and wanders into the wood, the sound of the leaves crunching over her feet. The air here is very nice. It's very cool. It's refreshing. It's the early, it's what now? 8, 9:30-ish. 9:30-ish in the morning. Coffee is slowly dwindling away at this point in time. Your belly grumbles. She's walking through this pathway and she begins cutting into the small, tender trees that are off to the left-hand side. Then she stops and rakes a little bit, reaches down to the ground, pulls on something, and a large chunk of ground opens up. She pulls out a remote from her pocket, points it in. Dwit, dwit. You hear from inside. She slides it in, pushes the trap off to one side, and begins descending a flight of stairs into the ground.
Elliot just kind of leans over to Garrett and goes, I think she's more secure than our computer programs in the office.
Yeah.
But he'll follow.
Garrett has little to say at this point in time. He's tired. He's had an early morning. Shit scared out of him. Now he's fucking following
random lady.
Rambet. Not Rambo, Rambet. Into the woods. This hideout of hers is nice. There's no AC, very little airflow except for some fans. So you personally can kind of get a good idea of what it feels like. It's warm under the ground. Yeah. This place is stocked with food and some shelves. There is a number of guns, as well as gun repair kits here and there, and bullet making, shell pressing, and all sorts of really good stuff. This is the kind of place that somebody might fall back to. There is no adorning imagery that goes along with anything in here. There are no flags, other than the American flag, or I should say. There's an American flag. There's no images of family or anything else that's like that. There's no mounted things along the wall. It's all guns, canned foods, and business. She takes you to past a hanging sheet, a floral sheet that kind of cuts off. And there's a desk. There's a computer. And the computer's on. And she pops up and she begins playing with it. And she points at a map on the wall. It's a local map. She says, "This is my father's old hideout." And I put that map up when things started happening. This map is a lot more comprehensive than the one you've seen. So let's slide over and take a look. And so I can make some changes. I need to slide the players over too, because otherwise just the audience gets to look. We're going to make the pictures disappear, so you guys can see all of the map. All of the map. All of the map. All of the map.
I'm sorry that I keep yawning.
It's fine. I seem to be immune from it right now, so I'm not worried about it too much.
That's good. That means you don't care about me.
No, it just means that I'm not tired, because the coffee.
There you go.
Coffee. She begins going through the discussion of what she's seen. Oh, Yeah, let's not do that one. I guess, man, I'm just learning how to use this program. Do that. Yeah, that's good. That's the whole map. I apologize. It's all stretched out on Twitch. It's the parameters for the point of view have been changed from the starting normal. Anyways, going to do some dotting time. Let's pick a color that everybody easily see. I'll stay now.
Probably, what was this say, red or something?
Yeah, we'll use red.
It would stick out on the green, on top of the green.
Except for me. It's fine. I know where everything's at.
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting.
Everybody forgets.
I just think it's because it's one of those things that everybody takes for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely do. I just don't think that, like, it's a possibility. And then, like, my friends, like you, they just like, oh no, I have it. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. Like, I don't even know what opposite color to use. Plus, my artist instincts kick in where I'm like, green is complementary with red, so it sticks out.
Christmas.
Kind of. It's kind of like how, even though it's a terrible color combination, but purple and red are complementary colors. Blue and orange. Art lessons with Paige. Green and pink. Basically, if you have the color wheel, which you could literally Google, it's things that are opposite from each other.
Okay. So she starts off talking about this first red circle where she points out, she says, this is the first hunter. He's been gone since January. He's technically a missing person, but there's no evidence of foul play, and he has been having issues with his wife, so him being missing technically could be he just ran off. But, I'm going to chuck it in. This is where the first murder victim took place, so she points at this one up here.
Yeah.
And then the first murder victim took place here.
Do you know when he left?
She goes, no. I don't have all the details. I just know.
Say that it was in January when he was around that time.
She goes, I don't have all those details.
Out of character. If you can, do you have the map of the full moon chart?
I do.
May I see it, please? January. So there's one full moon. I was curious. I knew that there was. I didn't know if I was right or wrong, and I'm wrong. I thought there was 2 full moons in every month, but there's one.
There's generally a new moon and a full moon, but every once in a while you'll get 2 full moons in 1 month. That's called a blue moon.
Yeah.
I'm going to slide back now.
Yeah, go for it. Thank you.
Put the player over there, then I forgot to drag my butt back over there.
Oh, sorry, I just didn't. Are you okay?
I'm dying. So, she points out that this is the area where, for the most part, he generally hunted. And then she mentions the next gentleman that was a hunter over from Berryville, owns land, and she points there. And then she goes, and then she points out that the second victim happened in February, and the hunter over in Berryville, of course, disappeared in February, or at least that's since he's been missing. Early February, she remembers that one.
Okay.
And then, of course, in Lewiston, there was somebody taken in Lewiston, too. And then, in March, there's a hunter who comes up from Mifflintown and does hunting north of Arch Rock. Arch Rock is where the body washed up from the river. Remember that one, right? North of Arch Rock. And he normally hunts in that area in the games land. But he's been missing now since about the end of March. Beginning of March. Yeah. Earlier part of March. And then she says, and of course the map isn't here for that, but she doesn't understand why the third murder victim came all the way back to Nangney. But the fourth hunter victim is not on this map. It's off to one side, and there's a circle. So it's like it's going in clockwise, but for the purpose of like counterclockwise, for the purpose of like tracking down these targets. And you can see that the spread. And so,
sorry if I'm like moving my camera.
Yeah, no, you're good.
On my screen.
You're good. You're good.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
So she goes, I think, and based upon the way it moves, its location, speed, ground speed, open, whatnot, and she gives a nod. This isn't just some crazy talk. This is my ranger training. Being able to track someone is important. Travel through forest is difficult, but travel across flat land, you can get greater distances. There's a lot of flat land. And so she draws, if I can find a color, we're going to use, man, I'm going to like this one. We're going to do that. And then she draws off the map, and then she draws back onto the map. And then she starts drawing lines. Let's see if we can do that real quick.
There is the polygon.
Mm-hmm.
That'll make straight lines if you wanted a straight line. But if you do it, you can make like squares like that until it goes back to the point. So, warning on that.
And so this last line, I just need to take it out because this, I just want to take it out. Undo. Oh, never mind. I guess I don't get that option. I do now. And so, freehand shape. We're going to use a different color. It's going to be bright yellow. We're going to do this. This is my hunt zone. Just outside Siglerville.
Question.
Yes.
Where was I attacked?
Click on that.
I thought it was in Lewiston, but I could be. In Reedsville? Like right near Reedsville?
Yep. It came up the highway and then went in.
Elliot will point that out to her.
She gives a nod. And that was last night?
Yeah.
I wish you'd shared that with me earlier. As we
So
all knew you were attacked.
Wait, what?
Everybody's been talking about it.
Well, yeah, but not by this thing.
By something. We all saw the car. She hands you over a picture of your car on her phone. Technology, communication travels much faster.
Especially in this small town.
So, do you, Paige, recognize anything on this map? Anything at all? Because your character would, but Paige might not, because of the number of times that the game doesn't continue on.
Yeah, hold on. Let me make a little doodad here so I know that's where I was attacked. That I recognize. Let me zoom out. Too far. Zoom in. Let me think. Let me try.
Sure.
I want to try before I do anything. I'm trying to think of like the first victim and everything of that nature and whatnot. Well, she already knows that. I want to try something. I'm gonna make my color pink just so I stick out.
Sure.
Um, First victim. Where was my first victim? First victim is what? A B? A?
The victim was at A. The body was found at B.
Okay. Okay. The red circle at the top near B is the hunter that was found in January, right?
Yes. No, it wasn't a hunter found in January. It was a young man who was driving on the road, and he stopped
No, no,
for
no.
whatever reason.
B, but the red circle is the hunter,
Near
right?
the circle near Berryville. The red circles are hunters.
Yes. So okay, so the red circle above Berryville is the first one.
Second
the first
hunter.
one.
No. The first
So
hunter
who was the
was
first one?
right up here.
That's what I was asking.
Oh, Berryville's over here.
Yeah. So near to the
Tusseyville.
right of Tusseyville.
Mm-hmm.
What a name. I live in Tusseyville.
There's Mifflin Town down here. Mifflin Town.
Mifflin. I love names of places. Alright, so boop. I'm gonna do where boop. And it would go there. Who was my second victim? F?
Yeah, no, C.
C.
Yeah, so the victim procedure doesn't follow this counterclockwise that she's talking about, but the missing hunters does.
Yeah, well, hold on. Because C. Fuck. Berryville. Okay, that's, yes, C. And then it would go to the next hunter because that's early. And then it would go straight back to the star point because that, right? Or F. It would go straight back to F, right? Because F was where Tess was found, or was that the star? Or is that D?
The star is where Tess was assumed to have died. D is where Tess's body was found.
Okay, maybe I did this wrong. So what's F?
F is where the priest was found. And nobody knew where he disappeared from. Because there was no real good estimation of...
So it would be... Oh shit, I'm not pink anymore.
Yeah, I hate the way that changes. I have complained about that.
It'd be like a zigzag pattern then. That doesn't help. I want to be smart. I really want to try to figure this out on my own, but...
Okay.
I don't want to take up anybody's time. I'm also doing this on like...
No, okay, so...
A cup of black tea.
So, no, here's the thing. We're gonna play some... So, she has drawn out a bunch of stuff. You've drawn a bunch of stuff. But, I will bring your attention back to what she circled.
Yeah. Which, I mean, the obvious thing is that there's a point that they all circle right here.
Right. What's inside that circle?
If there's a name, I can't see it.
No, you can't see that name? Well, that's important because that's what I'm trying to...
No, there's Slignerville and then the bald...
Siglerville.
Yeah, Siglerville.
Yeah. Does that name sound familiar to you, Paige?
Hold on. Probably not. Not really. Not to me off the bat, but if I go to my notes...
Okay.
Actually, it might. I think it does, and I think I know why.
All right, we'll just start talking.
I don't have the address on my... I might actually have it.
But
the Walden family.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The Walden family?
Yeah, Alice and Natalie. Natalie was Natalie was the one who drew the pink lady.
That's right.
I need my colored pens. God damn it. I made my notes all pretty.
Nice.
They're all color coordinated. Actually, I'll make it red because it's important. Well, I know one thing. It definitely attacks when the family's away. Because they're on holiday right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Other notes and pencil. Am I missing anything else, or was that the thing that I needed to figure
That's
out?
what I wanted you to notice.
Okay. Yeah, definitely Elliot will uh, start like looking at it and then just point at the map on and tap Siglerville.
Joe
And
will respond with small town community, not very many people out there.
you've seen the photos and video that I have.
Yeah.
There's a common theme that we've seen, or at least I've seen, of a pink child with blonde pigtails.
She will lean back in her chair at this point in time, as this is new information to her. Go on.
Well, long story short, a child named Natalie has been drawing the same image that we've seen. We even have footage of one of the victims being dragged away by this child, supposedly. And it's also something that attacked me last night with this large creature. The child is located in Siglerville. That's where their home is, and even when I was there, things were a little off. Uh, Off as in a entire car engine being pushed off a tree stump when nothing was there.
She'll stand up, point at her map, and she'll start like tapping a few places. This area is riddled with caves. They're all over the place. And we've been looking in caves. And she taps an area of the map. But right there on the hillside, north of Siglerville, there's an old coke plant. They were dumping the coke slag in the caves a long time ago. And that coke plant is still up there in those trees in the hills. It's pretty big and spacious. If this is a thing, and it's been eating, it could possibly be growing, or maybe even worse. Multiplying or some crazy shit like that. It's been moving. We've been tracking it, and from some of the bears I've noticed, the caves that were used by it have been getting bigger. She steps past you, picks up an AR-15 and begins checking some magazines and strapping them together. She loads the AR-15 and grabs another magazine. You and Garrett are just standing there while this woman suddenly begins arming herself.
Yeah, Elliot's not too worried. He's got his pistol on him. Ellie's just kind of baffled at the thought of it could be multiplying. And that thing was in his vehicle. Uh, all right, that's I mean a perfect location for this thing to do feeding. Which I mean we could check that out. Yeah, the thing is, when now that you mention multiplying, I didn't see it multiply, but when it attacked my vehicle, it definitely left something behind.
She reaches up to a part of her desk and slides off a bit of canvas and pulls out a metal box. It's closed. She slides it into the cargo pocket. After you say that, she slides. Oh, then I'm going to need whatever's in this container
Yeah.
right here.
Elliot just
Oh,
watches
boy.
that, and he'll actually perk up at that and go, "What is that? What are you doing?" She's putting it in her pocket.
Nothing. In case of emergencies.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a part of this emergency. I want to know what it does.
When I tell you I'm going to use them, you need to run.
Great.
She will stand up at this point in time. You've been in the military, right?
I have. Yes, I think. Yes.
Army, Air Force, Marines, Navy.
I fuck. Actually, I have no idea. Out of character, I'm looking at my sheet and I'm just going,
Being an FBI agent does not require you being in the military.
yeah, I don't think he did.
Yeah, you didn't. As far as
Yeah,
I know.
so Elliot just kind of shakes his head. Nope.
When I
He
say
looks at
run,
Garrett.
you need to run.
Has Garrett? Do I know if Garrett's been in?
Yeah, we'll say Garrett was in the Navy.
All right. He seems like a Navy boy.
Yeah. All right, so she begins ramboing up at this point in time. There's no theme
Yeah.
music. She doesn't do anything goofy, but she's definitely gathering weapons. Not just one, like 2 sidearms, whatever's in that metal canister, an AR-15 with a scope on it, and several clips.
Yeah. Elliot kind of. He's at this point. He's looking at his notes. And then he'll look up at her, and she'll have another gun on her, and then he'll look back down and repeat. And he just kind of stops and he goes, "You're going out there now."
By the time I get everything I need together, it's going to be about 4 o'clock. I'm going to make sure I eat and get prepared, and then I can meet you in Siglerville about 5 o'clock.
Would I have enough time to drive to what's his name? Oh, Father Jones, obviously. Duh.
Mm-hmm.
His church, and then reach Siglerville in that time? There's something that I want to ask him because I had a brainstorm while writing my notes.
Sure. It's going to be a bit of a stretch to do so. But, I mean, you could do it. Yeah, I think you could do it. If you guys went back now, got his car, and started doing shit, yeah, you could make
Yeah.
it to Jones.
If he's there.
Yeah.
Which I was hoping he was here at the hunting thing. Cause
Yeah, he was supposed to be, but he didn't show.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you didn't show at the special meeting. You know, this means a demotion.
No, Elliot just kind of, as she's like, "I'll meet you there by 5," he just says, "Make it 5:30. We'll be there."
Okay.
He'll look at Garrett and he goes, we need to go to Father Jones."
Okay.
And he kind of stands a bit and he'll take a picture of the map. I definitely want a picture of that.
Okay.
I'll take a picture of the map, and then after that, I mean, he'll just go, "Great. I'll see you in Siglerville then, or we'll see you in Siglerville."
She'll take you back to the lodge. You guys get your car, and then she's off.
Elliot looks over to Garrett and he goes, "Hey, remember that time that we had to bring in a guy that was fully naked, claiming that he was the devil, but he was really on bath salts or whatever?" I think this tops the weirdest case that we've had.
You guys drive back to Lewiston. As you're driving back to Lewiston, you guys, it's a decent drive. You get back over into the highway. You're heading toward Reedsville. Your phone goes off, or at least Garrett's phone goes off. Picks it up, answered it. Yeah. He goes, "Hey, Brown, how are things?" And you hear Brown, just loud as can be. "I don't know how, but it broke through the side fending. There's a massive hole. It was in there. It got free. And he just starts yelling, and Garrett has pulled the phone back.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "It was in there. It was huge. It moved so quickly. We got some pictures of it. This is phenomenal. First contact." And Garrett's like, "Did anyone get hurt?" And he has to ask it at least twice before Brown finally
Yeah.
responds. "Yeah, it hit Teresa, but she's going to be fine." But the man doesn't stop. He continues on his
Yeah.
tirade about first contact, aliens. It was an alien. It was an alien. At this point in time, you that's the part of the phone call you got because you're in and out of sleep on this ride.
Yeah.
You arrive at the church, Lewiston. You've slept up to this moment. Garrett's waking you as you're pulling into the parking lot. All right, we're here.
He kind of does the thing where he's like, "All right, like let's go." He rubs his eye and he goes, "Hey, did you get a phone call from Brown?" I would think I was half asleep when I heard that.
Yeah, something happened. Something got out of the trunk.
Of course it did. He put saran wrap on my vehicle. You think that would keep an alien in my vehicle? If it was an alien?
He usually said alien. He goes, that breath, and then you say, if it was an alien, he's like, "We got to stop kidding ourselves at this point in time. I think we're in over our heads."
We're definitely in over our heads. But you know, what the fuck are we gonna do? There are people dying. I'm not gonna just sit here.
There's got to be somebody we could reach out to. Somebody's got to believe us if we show half of this stuff.
Contact the Men in Black.
They don't exist.
There's footage. And then he like opens his door.
All right. He says, "I'm just going to stay out here and smoke."
Elliot slowly turns around and goes, "No. You are coming with me. And you're not staying in a car. You're not staying in the edge of a forest at all. You're sticking with me."
Okay, let's go. I'll be next to you the entire time we deal with this old defenseless priest.
There's just a couple of questions I need to
All right.
ask him.
Fine. You walk into the church, going down into the basement. His secretary greets you too as you enter. I don't see her name right off the bat, so give me a second. She asks how she can help.
Yeah. Is Father Jones available?
Yes,
Wasn't at the meeting today. At the hunting lodge.
The meeting. Oh, the hunting lodge meeting. Oh, yes. He had some visitors earlier today, so he was staying here at the church and taking care of other necessary things. I'll go see if he's free.
Thank you.
Walks off and then comes back. Yeah, he'll come. Come on. So she walks you down to his office. And
So I'm just looking over my rant that I sent you. I want to make sure I'm going to ask this guy correctly.
Okay. So you walk in, and he stands up, smiles. "Hello, a special agent Jones, right?"
Yep.
That's right. You guys have the same last name. Ha.
Yep. Yeah. That's why I keep forgetting it too.
I know, right? Yeah. Special. Nice to see you, Special Agent Jones. Again. How can I help you?
There's just one thing that I keep going over in my notes that just doesn't make sense. Hopefully it is. It's something simple that you can answer.
Sure. What would that be?
You said you heard the commotion at 2 a.m. What were you doing at 2 a.m.?
I was here at the church organizing things for the upcoming raffles and everything else. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and you can see he's trying to push out a smile. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes.
At 2 a.m.
Work's got to get done. God's work happens at any hour. And he pushes out another smile.
Look at my notes because I got to make sure I'm getting the dates right. I have a question out of character.
Yes, of course.
Is there anything commonly known in newspapers or anything of that nature? Because let me think. Let me find my notes of Tessa. Because I don't know what day that was. That was like a Wednesday?
Okay.
When that was heard, right? I'm guessing. I have it somewhere in my notes. I just can't find it for some
when
reason.
the whole thing happened. Hang on, let's see.
Yeah. Because I don't have like dates. I have dates, but I don't have like the day of the dates.
Hang on, I do. February 19th was a Tuesday.
So yeah, Thomas will definitely. Thomas, god damn it. Elliot will definitely. He'll definitely mention that, like 2 a.m. on a Tuesday. Other than that, what my question was: is there anything commonly known on Wednesdays, the day prior, or Wednesdays or Mondays? Anything with the church, or was there like a cookout, or like a commonly known thing that would be
Posted in newspapers and stuff that Elliot would see.
That you've been, I mean, I'm sure that you've dug around and tried to see if there was some sort of common thing happening, but
Yeah.
in all honesty, no. There was nothing on the schedule other than normal events, meetups, and small gatherings.
Let's see, Wednesday.
Wednesday? This was in March?
When he was here at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yes.
No, that was in February.
Sorry, February.
That he was 2 o'clock in the morning. And
February.
so, I mean, Valentine's Day, but that's like already passed, and that's
No.
not something they would worship or deal
No.
with, you know.
Here's the thing. I don't think that you would think of this, but it's something that I think Elliot would mention. And I'm sure that if I'm getting his religion correctly, and I'm sorry if I don't.
To anybody who's offended by it.
Ditto.
But if you celebrate Lent and if you follow Lent, religiously enough, you do Wednesday, Fridays, and Sundays where you have to eat. You can't eat meat, and some people take it seriously as far as not eating anything that was provided during the whole thing in the Bible with Jesus and fish and bread and shit.
Okay, I'm following you.
Yeah. Normally, a lot of churches would have something going on the next day, say like a fish fry or something of that nature. A lot of places around here in Michigan have it. Usually they do Fridays, but I know that some places do Wednesdays. So Elliot kind of like nods a little bit and he goes, "Yeah, what are you doing the next day?"
You mean that Tuesday?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
I'm sure that my schedule book could shed some light on that. I'm not really sure. I have he's been nervous throughout the entirety of your meeting and every time
this is definitely different from last times.
I have a lot of things going on, and is there any way we can maybe reschedule this appointment?
No, I actually need this information right now.
All right, let me finish if I can find my schedule book. And so he does. He begins kind of like fumble around the office. He begins to look for things and move things about. And what do you want to do while he's doing this?
Going through his desk stuff. Sorry, Discord cut out when you said he.
Yeah, he's going. He goes through his desk stuff. He picks up books and opens drawers. Make a psychology roll.
Yeah, he's stalling.
Well, I definitely failed it. I'll just tell you that.
Okay.
I got a 12 out of 7. So
He stops
But
at
I
some.
mean,
Yeah, he stops and goes. I cannot seem to find my schedule book. My assistant probably has it. Please, I will go get it and be right back.
well, it's perfectly fine. I do have another question before you go.
Yes.
It still just bugs me that at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday you would be here at the church and you would hear the commotion outside around that same exact time. It's just baffling. Not to mention, Wednesday is a day of Lent, so normally I would assume that a church like this would have something going on, which you would have to get right amount proper of sleep, especially if you are a priest that would be in the location, helping, serving, meeting with people.
He seems to be. You're driving a nail into a coffin or something. But continue, please.
Yeah, it pretty much he continues. And you're not the type of person that would just skip out on this sort of event. So it's just kind of baffling that you would waste your precious sleeping time. Not to mention that you go to hunter meetings, and today you missed one.
It has been a very busy time of year with all the terrible things that have been. And he says this. He's looking at the floor when he talks, not to look at your face, and you see that there is an incredible amount of focus on his statements. It has been an incredibly difficult time of year. I've been working hard to do God's work as much as I possibly can. And then he looks up from the floor to you. I must put in extra hours to make sure that the good work is done. I'll be right back with that schedule.
Garrett's with me, right?
Yes.
I just don't want him to leave the room. Because if he is guilty of anything, he'll just leave. Let's see. It's 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see the calendar again, please?
Of course. People might actually want to see our faces too. So after this one, I think I'll bring.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, I can. You know what? I'll look at.
You can still see it.
I'll look it up on my phone because I actually need to know the day.
Well, you as the player can go to Roll20 and still see it. It's still
the 21st. It has yet to be the 21st. Okay. I don't even chat. Hold on. There you are. All right. Yeah. Even before as he's like getting up, Elliot just kind of leans in the doorway, making sure that he can't get out of the doorway, and just folds his arms and he goes, "Oh, I'm sure you're very busy with Easter coming up and everything, but." Tough times. These deaths happened a while ago. Even the people who have moved on have moved on. Most of the time when I mention of death or anything of that nature, it's mainly just memories that are brought up, not the actual shock of it all.
He looks like he wants to say something, but then he says, I understand. And it's just been busy. Let me get that schedule book and I'll show you what I've been up to. What I have been doing. He says, let me get the schedule book and I will show you the good work I've been doing.
what I've been up to is pretty...
Yeah, I know. That's something I would say. Yeah.
That's what I would say too. I'd dig myself into a deeper hole. Elliot will kind of get off the doorway and he goes, "Oh, I'll follow you. I think I saw like a coffee machine down there and I really need one."
Sure. So he walks down to the secretary's office, points you out to the coffee room. He steps into her room. They're about Jason across the hall, and begins talking to her about the scheduling book, which he begin pulling it out, and he thanks her and everything, and then he comes across the hall to the little break room where you're at, and the schedule book, and he holds it out, and you're like across the room. He holds it out, and you're kind of busy, so it's difficult for you just to stop what you're doing and walk over there. But you can see the book is visually shaking in his hand. And so then he sees it himself, and he puts the book down on the table.
Yeah, I'll walk over and start thumbing through, and I'll look at the exact date.
Okay.
That I was looking at, the Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Okay.
Even Monday.
February.
Back in February.
Yeah. There's nothing going on at that period of time. And the next event is at least 2 weeks away. So that man was prepping for stuff like 2 weeks away. Now, I guess you could kind of say that's important, but 2 weeks away was a baseball game.
Yeah, Elliot kind of leans up and he goes, "You were prepping for a baseball game then?"
Well, paperwork involving some of the receipts from the Christmas, and he starts tapping December. You've got this man definitely worried. You can tell there's the level of honesty about what was going on that night has drastically dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes, "Christmas in February. You were finishing those in February?"
Taxes.
All right. Instead of beating you down more with a nail into a coffin, you're obviously beating around the bush out of something. What are you hiding, Father Jones? What was happening Tuesday at 2 a.m. that's so suspicious?
All right, so I'm going to make him make a composure roll.
Go for it.
Go ahead and make a psychology roll, because as well as you do, you will bring down his composure roll.
Sure. 3 1s. Eat a dick.
So what is your psychology?
7. So 3 out of 7.
That's by 2. He got a 7 in his composure, being he's a normal person. A 7, he needed to get a 5 or less, so he failed by 2. His mouth is open. He's hyperventilating, or maybe something, and he goes, This is all my fault. The devil's come to Lewiston, and it's my fault. And he walks over and he's like leaning onto the table. Now, you are in this room by yourself with him. It's just you and him. Garrett's not in here, FYI.
Oh, I was gonna say Garrett's not with me. I know. I told him to come in with me.
Yeah, Garrett's stuck back at the office. He's looking for clues, Scoob.
That's fine. Go for it.
I blame myself. I blame myself for all of them. All the deaths. That thing is only here because I called the devil to Lewiston.
Fucking knew it. He doesn't say that, but Paige says it. I fucking called it.
Oh, man. Okay. It was just getting worse. You don't understand. It's been just getting worse. Between the queers and all the strange people.
And the people who had evidence on you of other things?
Tessa was accusing me of things that I didn't do.
I'm not sure about that. She said she had evidence.
I told her that wasn't me. And at this point, he's yelling. And the secretary stood up, and she's now standing near the doorway. You don't know if Garrett's around the corner, but you see that she looks to somebody down the hall. So by assumption. And he yells at you. He's yelling now, "That wasn't me! That wasn't me! I would never hurt people. I would never hurt." And he just fucking starts losing it. He starts to cry and scream at you. "I didn't hurt anyone. That person wasn't me."
But the creature was. You said you summoned it?
No. And then he, like, sobbing cry instead of yelling crying. I just wanted to teach them a lesson. I didn't realize it would have an effect. I didn't realize. I didn't know. And that boy, Andrew, I had no idea. Because that was the first young man.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't. And then Tessa, she had come. She had said so many terrible things, and I would never have done those things. Yeah. You can see, he says it, and you can make a psychology roll on this one. He says it, I would never have done those things. Somebody else did those things.
Yeah.
And,
well, 2, 4, 8 out of 7, sadly.
well, no, he's
But
very emotional, and so it's a very telltale sign. He's trying to avoid blame. If he's done it, he's saying, I didn't do it. Such as, when the idea that was somebody else. That was me of another time. That's somebody else. I can just say it's somebody else, and that makes it okay. But you can see it's tearing up, because if it really was somebody else, why not? Because he's crying so hard.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, Elliot would even mention that, and he goes, then what's so wrong about it? Why are you so broken up about it if it was someone else?
And then he's because those are terrible words and nobody should ever say them about anyone. I'm a good man. And now he's spitting as he talks. He's starting to sweat profusely. His hair has become very matted at this point in time. Garrett is now in the doorway and observing everything, and he's ushered the secretary away. Father Reed was one of my best friends, but he'd talk horrible about me. That's why the devil took him.
So much blame on your devil that you keep talking about, even though you claimed in the beginning that you summoned him to do these things.
I told Andrew that the devil was going to come down on him for the way he is.
And you made that happen, didn't you?
I believe the wrong people were listening to me that night when I prayed.
Is that all you did?
I
Just
prayed
pray?
so hard for Andrew to learn. And then I prayed so hard for Tessa to learn her lesson about talking foul. I even prayed for Reed because of what he did. And something heard me. And it came for them. And it'll come for you too. And that's when at that point, he breaks for the door. He's going to slam himself into Garrett. All right, he hits Garrett, but he's not strong enough. Sopping wet, he doesn't weigh enough to even stop Garrett. Garrett pushes into him and pushes him back and says, I'm going to arrest you for assault on a federal agent. Because that's just exactly what just happened. So there's a quick tussle. Garrett gets a 5 and throws him to the wall.
Yeah, I'll move over and try to handcuff him.
All right. He fights and foams and spits and yells at you. I want my lawyer. You can't do this. The secretary is in tears at this point in time.
Yeah. I'll give Garrett a look type of thing, like, and then he'll look at the secretary, and as he's pushing Father Jones up against the wall, the chest to wall type of thing, so he can actually handcuff him.
Yeah, and he gets handcuffed and then immediately brought into a chair to sit.
Yeah.
He's livid. He's hanging on the edge of the chair, disheveled at this point in time. You need to let me go. I brought it here. I'm the only one that can stop it. I am the only one who can end this thing.
Then tell me how.
I prayed to God last night, and He gave me the power to kill it. My prayers were answered.
Right. What kind of powers do you claim that were given to you?
It's in my office. God blessed me with the tool to get rid of it.
Elliot will look up at Garrett.
Garrett goes, the only thing I found was a shotgun behind the desk. So it was pointed pretty much in our direction when we walked in. He gives a nod. Hector's a good friend of mine, and when I asked, he said no, but then he changed his mind and brought me his shotgun. So I know that that's a gift from God.
Walk me through your...
Garrett says,
Sorry,
I need to call the police because we need to detain him.
Go for it. Walk me through your prayer to the devil. Did you do anything else? Anything involving summoning rituals? Blood, anything of that nature?
He shakes his hand. No, I didn't do any blood rituals, but I know that was important because I had cut my hand on a broken glass that day. I knew, I didn't think it would happen, but it did. And now that thing's here, and you're going to let it stay here because you're not letting me go.
I think that's all the questions I have for you, Father Jones. And he watches Garrett as he's calling the police.
The secretary tries to come in and ask questions, and Garrett's just like, one hand, you cannot enter this room at this point in time, kind of telling you just, he'll get a lawyer, make sure to call his lawyer. Garrett's being super helpful. Like, he needs his lawyer. He needs the rest. He's in a bad situation. He had a loaded shotgun under his desk. He could have killed somebody. His current state is not okay. She's like, you guys riled him up, and he's like, he's having an emotional moment, and the police will be here soon, and we're just going to hold him for questioning, contact his lawyer, so on and so forth. So when the police show up with, and it's township, not township. Which one is the one I want to use? Yeah, it's Township. Township is the guy who's been very kind of like not with it because he's found two of the bodies, and he's also close to retirement, and so he's So when the car pulls up and Township steps out, he looks at you, and his face just kind of like sinks very quickly, like oh gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And Juanita also steps out of the other side of another vehicle because, you guys both called, and they walk up. You communicate with what's going on. Garrett talks with them and stuff. And when you guys start dragging him out, you give him to the police, they can start taking him to the back car. He starts yelling. They were here. They were here today. You have to go check on Natalie and her mom. It's at their house. It's living behind their house. That's where it's hiding. The little pink girl hides there. She will kill. She is the disguise of the devil, and she will kill again if you don't go stop her. And this is like the rant as he's being dragged into the car.
Yeah. Elliot just kind of gives him a nod and goes, "Oh, I know." As the door closes.
All right, they drive him off. The next part of protocol is the hard part, because an evidence team has to come in and, they want to check the building. You guys want to look for the building as best as you can before, somebody says you can't look through the building. Which is not something you generally say. You want a warrant to wander the building and stuff like that. But you've already been given the
Yeah.
evidence of the schedule book and stuff. So
Yeah.
at this point, it's trying to gather some evidence. So, you got this guy who assaulted an officer. They can hold him for a day.
Yeah. Which I feel like that's all we need right now. But I think even when this is happening, Elliot just kind of looks at Garrett and goes, "Now we can talk to Guantanamo."
He
It's going to take some convincing.
Guantanamo.
But now we can talk to Guantanamo.
Guantanamo, he laughs again. How can you not say her name right?
I don't know. I always call her Snow White.
So the phone call is made. You guys are on back at the hotel room. It's set on speaker. Guantanamo answers. Hello, field agents. Hello, Special Agent Garrett. Special Agent Jones. How are things going in Lewiston?
Peachy.
You've called, so I'm assuming that there's an update of something worthwhile.
Oh, definitely. It's going to take a lot of talking, so I hope you have nothing going on today.
I'm free. Go ahead.
I'm sending you a video and multiple photos. Now, before you look at these, this is from my personal phone. I personally saw this. I even have pictures of my vehicle. And he'll send them over.
Okay.
And he'll wait for a little bit.
There's a lot of silence. Then she comes back in and she says, "Are you okay?"
A little banged up, I'm fine. I'll just have bruises and my head will be sore. May I continue?
Yes, please continue. I would like to see where this is going.
Garrett and I went to a hunting lodge where all of them have claimed to see something similar to the creature that I've witnessed. Not to mention, hunters have claimed to actually physically see the tracks that we've seen. Same color description of the lights, the color of the silver skin, even something pink. One of the hunters, I will leave her unnamed, or rather, I will leave them unnamed for now, has been tracking this thing very well, in fact, and he'll send the photo of the map. It all leads back to Sliggerville, where recently I have learned of a family that lives out there that their daughter draws pictures of this pink child. The last time I was out there, things were a little bit odd and different. The family's not there until Wednesday, which leaves us a day. But
actually, the father just started yelling at you. They were here earlier today. She told me the little girls there, they're not safe. So that was through his ranting that you were supposed to interpret that Natalie and her family came home a day early.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't make that too clear.
Fine. Yeah, so he'll mention that too. They came back a day early, so we will go investigate with them later on today. On top of that, there was something in my notes that was bothering me for a while now, and that was Father Jones. And the last time that he and I spoke to each other, he mentioned that he was at his church at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday doing paperwork. I thought it was nothing at first until I re-looked at it and I really thought about it and it wasn't right. So I decided to talk to him today, and he clearly wasn't prepared for a bluff or a cover-up of some nature. I have multiple witnesses and confessions of him saying that he was praying that people of Andrew, Tess, and Father Reed would find their way. But the way he did it, it sounds more of, bear with me here, it sounds more of a ritual. He used blood, cut himself, and prayed. He called something, and he even assaulted Garrett and I when he tried to escape. We have him now detained in the police station and township. That doesn't sound right the way I said it, but you know. And the hunter that we were speaking to is going after that thing tonight. So, you best believe Garrett and I would be there. I know this is a lot. I know this doesn't seem normal, especially coming from me, out of all people. But I physically saw this thing. And not to mention the way Father Jones is acting. How he just broke down like that. The way he was coming up with excuses why he was there at 2 a.m.
We can't really hold or do anything against the priest. There are no laws that cover an act such as what you're describing. Assaulting an agent, on the other hand, we can detain him.
Well, there's that and the obvious choice of that Tess believed that he was doing things with kids. She said that she had evidence, and even though he claims that it wasn't him, it definitely was him. We just need that confession.
We're not going down this road for a confession of what he did with children. We're here to find murders. As far as it goes for this thing, these images in this video are profound. The damage done to your vehicle is concerning. I'm no expert, and I would like to leave it in the hands of experts to identify this. But at first glance, I would say your car was attacked by a bear. But that's
Too big
because,
for a bear. Ask any hunter.
and I understand this, and I'm not an expert in this, so I can't give any kind of credibility to this point. At this point of what you saw and what's in these videos, I'm still baffled, but you do have two correlating evidence with what we got from the CCTV and what is on your camera now. I would really like you to come into the office tomorrow for a psych eval, just to make sure that you're doing okay. I understand the situation. Please don't take this the wrong way. I need to make sure that my agents are doing good out in the field. And what you're talking about would definitely make me concerned.
I can't promise that I'll be there tomorrow. I might be a little busy.
Agent Jones, I need to know that you're okay. Agent Garrett, if I need you to tell me that Agent Jones is capable of handling the work. Garrett responds, yes, I believe Agent Jones is entitled to be taking a bit seriously at this. The things that we have witnessed is not something that falls into the realm of normal. The father's confession is odd. I'm not a profiler, so I'm not going to be able to tell you whether or not he fits into a particular style. But at most, since he has a link to all 3 victims, I believe he might just be the psychopath who's been going around. And you see the Garrett's face, because you aren't on a video call, you're on a phone call. You see Garrett's face is translating to you as, I'm going to tell her what she wants to hear so we can get off the phone. Mm-hmm. I believe that the father might be the sociopath that we were looking for. I believe he is involved in some way, and I think we need to search his home and look for anything peculiar that might give us some more clues or information. I believe that Agent Jones and myself have been through a lot, and that we need some due rest, and we will get that just fine tonight. When Tanabe finishes speaking, saying, when can we see you 2 back in the office? If not tomorrow, then I would really like it if the 2 of you would come back in on Thursday.
We could do Thursday.
Good. So, if you have no other pressing issues, I would suggest go get some nice dinner, sit down, relax, go back over your notes. He has been captured, so we will be fine, right? And we'll figure out what's going on with this pink girl and what attacked your vehicle. We will figure that out. But for right now, the 2 of you should take the rest of the night off. There are other agents in your area that I can activate and send in your direction to help out if need be.
Very well.
I'm glad you 2 called in. I'm very glad that we've had this opportunity for a breakthrough. This is progressing along nicely. I appreciate the evidence you provided to me, and I look forward to reading your report.
Elliot just kind of has this face where it's like, fuck reports. Like, I have to do shit ton of paperwork for this shit.
I get attacked by monsters and I have to write about it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. All right, so she thanks you and gets off the phone.
Right. Well, I was half right. Elliot just says to Carrot.
Yeah,
she didn't believe me.
She didn't believe you. And now we have an eval we have to do. I'm pretty sure she's going to pin me too, but I don't care. It'll take us about 40 minutes to get over to Sigler. Do you need to get anything? Looking at his watch, because it's still a few hours away before we need to be there.
Maybe some Tylenol. And
it's in my car.
Yeah. Maybe a drink before we go out and do this shit. I don't know if it's serious enough, but you should call Abby.
Yeah, I was going to.
Good. Out of the both of us, you're the lucky one.
I gotta call that detective and tell him to head home, because I don't need a detective watching the father.
Yeah, well, if he's good, he would have seen what happened today.
I saw him. I walked over and I saw him sitting in his car, but I just didn't take care of it until now. So let me go do that.
All right.
So he's gonna go make a phone call. You begin just unwinding. You find the few tiny bottles of alcohol that are stashed in this semi-elegant room. Pour yourself a shot and begin enjoying this Tennessee whiskey. Garrett comes back in after a little while saying that he has dismissed the detective that he had watching, and that the detective did not tell him at the time, but the father had seen a couple of families come in during the day, and one of them was a man and wife Man and a lady with a little girl that fits the description of Natalie.
Okay. It's good to know.
Yep. So he dismissed the detective, and there's that.
I'm gonna write that down. When did he see them?
Earlier in the day, about 8 or 9ish in the morning.
9 a.m. This is April. What? 13? No, 12. Because today's Tuesday.
April 16th.
Sorry, 16.
Yes.
My brain is great, guys.
So the hour begins kind of trucking along. You toss one back. You enjoy yourself. You watch some TV. You smoke some cigarettes. You get some take-in food. You start to pass out. You're asleep for maybe an hour or so. And
Garrett, wake me up?
no. Well, Garrett didn't wake you up. It's his sound of his voice wakes you up. You're dead passed out, and you hear him talking at first in a panicked voice, like, "What? Are you serious?" And that starts bringing you out as you're starting to come conscious just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When? How long? Right. Okay. Yeah, we're here. We can get on top of this as much as we possibly can. He holds his hand over the phone. Father Jones attacked the guard when he opened the cell, and got away from the police officer with his sidearm. He's on the loose.
Elliot's like sitting in the bed and he just goes, "An old man took down a police officer."
Another, police officer. All right, we'll join the search.
Well, I mean, we know where he's going. Elliot just says as he sits up.
So, like, I know where he's going. I know where he's going.
He's a fucking idiot, but I know where he's going. Like...
I don't need a map for this one. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm gonna go splash some cold water on my face. And I guess we're gonna drive out to meet Joe, because fuck it.
All right. You get into the car and you start driving. When you're getting closer, probably Siglerville, like you're 10 minutes away from Siglerville, your phone goes off
Okay.
with the number you don't recognize.
I'll answer it.
A familiar woman's voice on the other side says, "Is this Agent Jones or Garrett?"
This is Agent Jones. May I ask who's speaking?
This is Nancy. This is Father Jones's secretary. I'm so sorry. I got this from Tessa's daughter-in-law. I reached out. I heard what happened. I'm so very sorry. Listen, Kyle, my brother-in-law, just met with Father Jones, and Kyle said Jones was acting a little weird, but seemed okay. But then when he told me what happened and I told him what happened, apparently he hadn't heard that he had been taken into jail. He gave Father Jones one of his shotguns, and Father Jones said he was going hunting. My cousin Kyle lives up in Siglerville. Do you know where that's at?
Yes, we're headed there immediately.
Oh gosh, please. He's very hurt. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's very hurt, and he feels blamed for what's happened, but he's a good man.
We'll do what we can. Thank you for the information.
Thank you. And you get off the phone. Garrett asks what that was all about.
Nancy, the secretary. Apparently, her brother-in-law, Kyle, got a visit from our suspect. And
Great.
now he has a shotgun.
Oh, that's not great.
No. But apparently he said he was going hunting, which my suspicions were correct. He's headed up to where he thinks the monster is. And if he actually knows where it is, he knows where it is. that made any sense.
You pull up into an intersection. There's a gas station and a familiar camouflage Jeep. Joe is sitting in the Jeep as you guys pull into the parking lot. She looks down. You made it.
Didn't think we would.
Well, city folk like you might get scared. And she smiles.
Darling, we hunt the psychopaths. Kinda are some.
So the easiest way we're going to go, and she starts bouting out some directions. There's a place to park and leave the cars and take what we need with us. She starts talking about, the course of action to get up to the old coke plant. Do you inform her of any other complications along the way?
Oh, definitely.
So when you inform her that there is a elderly man with a shotgun who's out of his damn mind running around, she says, "Oh, great. I'll make sure not to shoot anything that looks like a person."
Well, that's, How tall is Father Jones?
Probably about 5'6".
Yeah.
As you guys make it to the secondary...
Don't shoot anything that's 5'6".
You guys make it to the secondary parking lot and begin unloading. She pulls out a bunch of gear and a backpack, and then she starts spreading out a parka. Not a parka.
I was going to say, is it cold up there?
It's like a big fluffy looking jacket, big soft looking jacket. She goes, "No, it's going to rain.
Oh.
You should always check the weather before you go hunting." And it looks kind of clear to you.
Yeah.
But
it's enough pants to make a sailor happy.
Exactly. We're going to call a game here. It's 8 minutes till 1. The group is heading into the woods to hunt a monster and try not to get killed by a psychopath.
Yes.
I'd
like to share something with you, lovely chat, that's still graciously awake with us and sticking by us. Let me see here. 6/16/2019. I contact Max saying that I'm redoing notes for Friday Night Frights. And I say, I literally just said out loud, none of this makes sense. The creature kills things on impact unless it only did things because it felt threatened, or maybe maybe if it caught me, it would just have dragged me off somewhere. I continue to rant as I'm going through notes and re-putting them into my notebook. Why is Father Jones at the church at 2 a.m.? When he heard the commotion at the door, he heard the commotion at the door at 2:58 a.m., called the police, and they showed up at 3:32 a.m. And then that's when Max said he was doing paperwork for next month. Paperwork on raffles, church events, all that sort of stuff. At 2 in the morning? February 21st is a Tuesday, which I actually looked up on my phone. And he goes, yep, that's what he said. Why would the priest be inside the church alone at 2:50 a.m. other than paperwork? Churches don't serve. They don't have service on Tuesday. ... Yeah. On a full moon night, no less. Fights the urge to roll supernatural.
Yeah, it was kind of great. I knew that after the last game session, Paige was on the edge of her seat because she kept talking to me about it. I was like, oh. I need to keep this in mind.
I fucking knew it. I even mentioned somewhere in our chat where I was like, maybe he just summoned it. But it was only when I was going past my notes and putting them, because I have them all on, get out of here, pens. I have them all on stuff like this, my little notebooks.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally have it on an actual, if I can move all my dice and shit, I actually have it on a big notebook. And when I actually moved everything, that's when it hit me, and I was like, that's not right. So I fucking knew it.
Well, so you've determined that the father has summoned a demon.
I did it! I'm proud of myself.
This demon is...
We might die here, and I might lose Garrett, but I'm proud of myself. I don't want to lose Garrett. He's a precious soul.
I think that looks
I like how that nod was like, that's debatable. Like,
yeah, I mean, you did just rile a priest up in the middle of the evening. You know, you just get and he's like,
because I
No,
knew I had instincts of a FBI agent.
Very cool. I love it. I want to thank everybody who has joined us tonight and is
Yeah.
enduring this wonderful story of ours.
Yeah.
The month of July is going to be a rather dry month. This is the month that I get to spend with my son, and he is one of the most important things in my life. So
You
I
should
pretty much
take
just
it.
taken a lot of time off. I should be running some shows. I'll definitely be doing it with his assistance if I do. I don't think Friday Night Frights is going to be up to his speed just yet, so we might not be back with Friday Night Frights for a while. So, Paige, I know this is news for you.
Yeah.
Don't really look toward the month of July for me and you hanging out. So, the last show for this probably won't be around until sometime in August. I apologize to those who are going to be sitting at the edge of your seat. I hate to lose the tension that we've built up at this point in time for an entire month of downtime, but this is the way things work out. We're still going to be doing the Shadowcasters show for Shattered Isles, so we still have that. And in the end of July, Cosmic Corsairs is getting started. It's been pushed back. It was supposed to start on the 15th, but it's not now. John will also still be doing his World of Warships show, so definitely come and watch those one-on-one battles that he somehow seems to be getting. That was epic. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out last Wednesday. John got a 1v1, and I won't tell you how how the outcome was, but it was like I was sitting on the edge of my seat.
Dude, 1v1s are always nice.
Yeah, it was a 1v1 pure PvP kind of situation where it's, oh my goodness, got to see the other guy before they see you and fire the most the first time and hit the most. And it's like, tension. Very good story building stuff there. All right, so let's see. What else do I have? I don't have very much else other than that. You guys know who we are, but I will put it into the chat stuff again because we always like sharing these important pieces of information, such as our website, where you can find our
schedule
calendar. And we've been doing some updating to it and whatnot. We're getting everything done for the podcast. Yay, we'll get episode 61 up soon. There's a lot of delays. Like the toaster I got didn't seem to actually read my hard drive, so I got to get a new toaster. If you don't know what a toaster is for a computer, then I'm sorry, I don't know the life you've been living.
It's called being poor and not knowing computers.
I'm moving on because I've suddenly called you out on that. So this is our Discord. So if you want to come hang out with us, we've got a lot of stuff going on. This coming Sunday. This coming Sunday, we're doing a one-shot 5th edition D&D game. We started the one-shot with Evan and Star-Lord Friday or two ago, and now we're picking up on it and continue on with that same storyline. This time, Cassie and Sarah will be joining Star-Lord in the game, and John will be in it as well. And my son and I are going to be co-GMing it, so we're going to have some fun with that.
That's awesome.
He's going to help me kind of design things, and then he's going to help with rolling dice. So I want to get him experiencing it too, start teaching him the trade that I know so that maybe he can do it himself, or at least learn something from it. Yeah, exactly.
Math stuff, friendship stuff.
Heck yeah.
It's very awesome to learn as a kid.
That's what I got. So I'm going to turn this over to Paige before we say goodbye.
Hello, I'm Paige. I'm tired. I'm tired as fuck. I just solved a case that I didn't think I was going to solve. So I'm hyped, but I'm going to sleep after this. I'm going to take a fucking sleeping pill and sleep because my tea finally kicked in. Thanks, tea. But I am not normally this hyper. No, I lied. I am. But I'm not normally here. I'm usually on Shadowcasters Network, which I'm not going to post a link to because I'm too lazy. But if you like me, and you like my face, and you want to see what I do in real life, go on my Instagram. I'm an artist. You can buy all my artwork. I don't have a sale going on. I had one. ages ago. I don't have one now. So if you want my artwork, please contact me. Email me. My email is on my Instagram. That's my work email. You can also contact me on Twitter or on Discord, the Ram Queen ad number. So if you're looking for something, contact me. That's about it. I have, like I said, I have stuff on the Shadowcasters Network. I'm doing Join the Anarchy, which honestly I don't know if it's this Monday or if it's next week Monday. It's a lot of like personal stuff comes up, and like I know one of the other players, his computer is breaking, and like I don't even know how that worked out for the streamathon because I didn't see it, but like it's an on and off, like this is the date. We also have Once Upon a Tabletop. I said that weird. Once Upon a Tabletop, which will be in July 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in July 23rd. We're playing the same. Oh God, what is it called? It's like time stories. We're playing time stories, and I believe that the episodes that we're doing is something dragons. So I'm getting like a medieval D&D sense, which I highly recommend you check out those, even if they're on the YouTube stuff for Shadowcasters Network, because those are really interesting. Because you basically are time agents, and you go back in time, and you solve things. You either protect someone or you try solving a crime to stop a huge event from happening. And sometimes you fuck it up, and your agent boss dude named Bob yells at you, and then at the end he's super happy because he solved it, even though he's still kind of a dick about it.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, be here tomorrow at 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. Sorry, I have to be here at 4 p.m. Be here at 5 p.m.
Be here at 5 p.m. and hang out with us.
Yeah, and watch us play as a wizard and a rogue and on a ship and flirting with men. It's pretty much the entire game.
It's pretty fun. It's a nice fantasy.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I love it.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. We're good, right?
It's also fucking homemade.
Heck yeah.
So yeah,
there's no rule book out there for my games.
And
wow.
I may or may not have made half of the spells that I cast. So yeah.
Good stuff.
So I'm really proud of them.
I am too. They're really good spells.
Than that, thank you. Other than that, that's me.
Okay.
Paige Jones.
All right,
Agent extraordinaire.
We're going to let you guys go. You guys have a wonderful night. See you next time.
Night, guys.
Night.